Funny thing about secrets, they don't hide well, they lean, they shift weight, they change posture. You can tell when someone's holding something behind their back because their smile tightens just a little and their eyes start checking exits instead of faces. Whatever it is, it's not neutral, it's not harmless. If it were, they'd put it on the table already. People think hiding is about silence, but it's really about control. Keeping something out of sight gives them power, or at least the illusion of it. They tell themselves they're protecting you, protecting the moment, protecting the future, when really they re-protecting themselves from what happens if the truth steps forward. Behavior is louder than words, always. People think they can hide things behind smiles, hand gestures, polite tones, but every secret leaves a signature. It's in the way they shift their weight, in the twitch of an eye, in the hesitation between breaths. Behavior is a map, a code, a signal, and hiding something behind your back doesn't erase it. It amplifies it in subtle ways that the observant can't ignore. When someone carries something unseen, they change, their movements are different. They tilt slightly, lean toward safety, avoid exposure. Their voice fluctuates in ways they don't notice. A pause stretches too long, a laugh is slightly off. These tiny inconsistencies aren't flaws, they're the evidence of concealment. The body doesn't lie as easily as the mouth. Most people believe hiding is about secrecy, but it's actually about control. Control over perception, over timing, over reaction. If they reveal too soon, they lose the upper hand, they lose the comfort of strategy, they risk consequence. That's why hidden things are so often delayed, managed, and measured. It's not malice, it's instinct. Survival in miniature. The act of hiding something affects thought. Every decision becomes weighed against what is concealed. Conversations are filtered. Words are chosen not for clarity, but for protection. Even casual gestures are evaluated for risk. That tension subtly reshapes personality, making people defensive, calculated, and hyper-aware of reactions they never had to monitor before. You can sense the weight even if you don't know its content. There's a kind of energy around withheld things, a pressure in the room, an unevenness in attention. People talk past it, laugh around it, or ignore it, but instinct notices. Instinct feels the subtle resistance, the invisible pause, the hesitancy in timing. That's the signature of concealment. Behavior becomes the shadow of what's hidden. People straighten their back, adjust their grip, avoid certain topics, repeat phrases, and create distance. All without realizing it, they're broadcasting to the world that something is being held. And anyone paying attention will see it because energy leaks through cracks faster than lies ever can. Hiding also creates psychological strain. The mind knows there's a burden. It nudges, whispers, and sometimes screams in moments of unguarded thought. People react emotionally in ways they cannot fully control. Mood swings, irritability, excessive caution, overcompensation, all are signs of an internal load carried silently. The behavior isn't random, it's a reflection of the hidden weight. Social interactions become carefully choreographed. Every gesture is calculated for safety, every word selected to obscure, every movement measured against potential exposure. People holding secrets operate on a dual plane, what they present and what they guard. That duality creates tension, subtly disorienting both them and the people around them. You'll notice it in micro-expressions, in fleeting glances, in the way they handle objects, in the patterns of speech that repeat too perfectly or falter unexpectedly. They may think no one can tell, but behavior is difficult to suppress. The human body and mind react to concealment automatically, its unconscious truth leaking through. Holding something behind your back also influences interaction with time. Moments stretch or contract, depending on perceived risk of revelation. Decisions are postponed, actions are cautious, Engagements are limited. The world itself becomes a map for avoidance, all dictated by the weight of what is kept hidden. The people around them sense it even if they can't name it. Intuition picks up on imbalance, tension, and subtle cues. You don't need to know what is hidden to understand that something is. Instinct functions as a radar for deviation from normal patterns, and hidden things always create deviation. Concealment is a form of power, yes, but it is also a form of pressure. The longer something is held behind the back, the heavier it becomes. The body tightens, the mind calculates more. Every interaction becomes a rehearsal of avoidance. Eventually, the pressure forces either revelation or collapse. And the truth is, hidden things almost never stay hidden forever. Behavior will betray them, timing will betray them, energy will betray them. When concealment becomes heavier than control, the hidden item moves forward, and the moment of revelation comes undeniable, leaving traces of tension, anticipation, and the subtle, unavoidable truth of all the behavior that led up to insolence is not empty. It carries weight, a presence that fills the room even when no words are spoken. People think keeping quiet is harmless, that it's neutral, that it preserves civility or avoids conflict, but silence is active. It signals, it pressures, it communicates. Especially when someone is holding something behind their back, silence becomes a language in itself, a language that doesn't ask for permission to be understood. When someone remains silent, it's rarely random. It's deliberate or instinctual, a shield against exposure. Every pause, every unspoken word, every hesitation in conversation is a sign of negotiation with whatever is being concealed. Silence protects them from immediate consequence, but it also broadcasts the existence of the unseen to those who pay attention. People confuse silence with innocence. They assume that because nothing is said, nothing is happening, but the opposite is true. Silence is full, its energy compressed, tension coiled, attention held. People who hide things rely on silence to manage perception, to maintain control over timing, to dictate how much others see before the full story is revealed. The effect of silence is profound. It makes those around them uneasy without revealing why. It creates space for speculation, for interpretation, for projection. People sense that the air has weight, that something is missing, that truth is being withheld. That unease is intentional, even if unintentional. Silence never lies, it always communicates something real. Silence also amplifies the importance of the hidden. A word spoken lightly may pass unnoticed, but a pause stretches time, making every interaction feel significant. Every glance, every gesture, every tone of voice becomes magnified. The mind fills gaps with possibility, and the imagination often exaggerates what is being concealed. Silence manipulates perception as effectively as revelation. There's a tension in people who hold things back that is visible even in quiet moments. They adjust posture, avoid eye contact, repeat phrases, and over-explain minor points. The body and mind are constantly negotiating the hidden burden, and those around them sense the imbalance instinctively. Even if the secret is small, the tension it creates is disproportionate. People often underestimate how much silence shapes behavior. It slows conversation, changes pacing, and forces others to engage with absence rather than presence. When someone is holding back, silence becomes a tool, a method of influence. It allows them to guide reactions without directly intervening, to control what is perceived without revealing themselves. Silence also forces reflection. Those who interact with someone holding a secret begin scanning for clues, patterns, inconsistencies. They notice timing, micro-expressions, tone, body language. They sense what is not said as vividly as what is. Silence converts observers into detectives, turning ordinary interactions into investigations of hidden meaning. The person holding the secret experiences silence differently. It is heavy, a constant pressure that shapes thought and action. Every moment of quiet is a negotiation with fear, with anticipation, with responsibility. Silence forces them to rehearse disclosure or concealment, to anticipate reactions, to measure risk. It's a constant mental calculus, a burden that others can often sense before they know why. There is also power in silence. It keeps options open, maintains leverage, and allows the holder to dictate the pace of revelation, but power comes at a cost. The longer something is kept quiet, the heavier the silence becomes. The tension increases. Small gestures start to feel like exposure. Conversations become minefields. The hidden truth weighs on mind and body alike. People rarely understand that silence is never truly empty. It is always carrying consequences, potential reactions, unspoken truths. Even when ignored, silence commune. Icates. It shapes perception, it exerts influence, it molds relationships. Every withheld word is a choice, a declaration, a manipulation of time and attention. And the paradox is that silence cannot last forever. The longer it stretches, the more pressure builds until action or revelation becomes inevitable. When the hidden thing finally emerges, the silence that preceded it intensifies the impact, leaving traces of tension, anticipation, and the undeniable imprint of every unspoken word that led up to the moment. Pressure is invisible until it isn't. It creeps in quietly, wraps around the chest, tightens the jaw, makes the stomach churn, and suddenly you realize that someone has been holding something behind their back, and the air itself feels different. It's not the object they hide that matters as much as the weight it creates, the way it shifts everything around it, how it forces attention even when people pretend to ignore it. People underestimate the force of hidden pressure because it doesn't scream. It doesn't announce itself with violence or overt conflict. It's subtle, persistent, and inescapable. The longer something is held back, the more it reshapes behavior, posture, and focus. Every movement, every glance, every hesitation is subtly altered by the invisible weight of concealment. Pressure exposes character. When someone carries a secret, they adjust, they overcompensate, they measure words, manipulate tone, and monitor expressions. Even minor actions become calculated to avoid exposure. The hidden object isn't just physical, it's a psychological burden that dictates how energy flows in a room, how conversation bends, how trust stretches and snaps under the tension. Those around them feel it too. You don't need to see what's held to sense its gravity. There's a subtle shift in atmosphere. Timing becomes awkward. Words hesitate in the air. Attention is drawn, not to the subject being discussed, but to what's missing. The energy of concealment leaks into perception, shaping intuition, awareness, and instinct without anyone consciously admitting it. Pressure builds in layers. At first it's quiet, almost ignorable. Then it tightens, demanding focus, pulling behavior into alignment with the hidden weight. The person holding the secret constantly negotiates between maintaining control and anticipating exposure. Each interaction becomes a negotiation between revealing too much and staying safe, between trust and self-preservation. Hidden pressure also magnifies fear. Not the loud, obvious fear of danger, but the subtle, gnawing fear of discovery, of consequence, of responsibility. Fear manifests as defensiveness, irritability, over-explaining, and excessive caution. Every choice is measured against potential outcomes, every gesture calculated to prevent accidental revelation. Pressure makes ordinary people cautious, strategic, and hyper-aware. Pressure forces attention. Nothing stays neutral under its influence. The person holding the secret can't act entirely naturally, and those around them pick up the cues subconsciously. Conversations slow, energy levels fluctuate, body language adapts. Subtle patterns emerge that reveal the weight being carried, even if the content of the burden remains unknown. Pressure isolates. The one holding something behind their back carries it alone, even among friends, colleagues, or loved ones. That isolation creates a tension that radiates outward, changing how relationships operate. Interactions are filtered, choices are measured, and authenticity is sacrificed to maintain concealment. The hidden weight becomes a lens through which all behavior is refracted. Pressure also demands readiness. The longer something is withheld, the more precise every action must be. One slip, one misstep, one uncontrolled moment could release the hidden element prematurely, creating chaos. People holding secrets become hyper-conscious of timing, environment, and reactions, rehearsing movement, speech, and expression as if life itself is under surveillance. The paradox of pressure is that it is both protective and destructive. It safeguards the secret, maintains control, and manipulates perception, but it also erodes spontaneity, heightens stress, and changes how people experience reality. It's invisible, relentless, and cumulative, leaving its mark on both the holder and those who sense it. Pressure, like concealment itself, cannot last forever. The heavier it becomes, the more the hidden thing demands acknowledgement. Eventually, it either forces action, reveals truth, or fractures under its own weight. The signs are there long before revelation: tension in speech, hesitation in action, subtle shifts in energy, and a growing awareness in those who are paying attention. And the remarkable thing is that pressure, though silent, always speaks. It communicates even without words, shifts dynamics without announcements, and shapes outcomes before the hidden thing is ever put on display. Every subtle movement, every careful pause, every measured gesture carries the invisible weight, and that weight never goes unnoticed. Trust is fragile when someone is holding something behind their back. It doesn't shatter all at once. It fractures slowly, imperceptibly, like cracks forming in glass that seems perfectly intact. You can sense it in hesitation, in the way people avoid certain topics, in the subtle shifts of posture or tone. Trust bends and bends under the invisible weight of what's being concealed, and even if the secret is harmless, the act of hiding it poisons the energy around it. People think trust is built by words, by promises, by assurances. They're wrong. Trust is built on visibility, on consistency, on the absence of concealment. When something is hidden, no matter how small, it introduces doubt. It makes interactions cautious. It makes intentions suspect. Even without knowing what is hidden, the mind starts filling the gaps with suspicion and conjecture. When someone carries a secret, they treat relationships differently. They monitor reactions, they filter their words, they measure gestures. Every interaction becomes a calculation, a dance of omission, and the people around them feel it, even unconsciously. Conversations become skewed, energy becomes guarded, subtle cues trigger instinctive mistrust. That's the invisible cost of holding things behind one's back. The more important the relationship, the more damaging the concealment. With friends, family, lovers, or colleagues, secrecy introduces imbalance. One person is aware, the other is guessing. The dynamic shifts without acknowledgement, trust erodes quietly, and tension builds invisibly. People begin compensating for the hidden, adjusting their own behavior to accommodate what they can't see but can feel. Hiding something also forces internal conflict. The person carrying the secret constantly measures what they reveal, to whom, and when. Every conversation becomes strategic. Every action is calibrated. Even casual gestures are filtered. The mind and body operate in two modes simultaneously, one presenting normalcy, the other managing the hidden weight. That duality is exhausting. and it leaks out in micro expressions, timing inconsistencies, and subtle energy shifts. Trust doesn't just suffer in silence, it suffers in anticipation. Those who sense concealment may not know exactly what is being hidden, but they feel the tension. They notice the pauses, the diversion tactics, the extra attention to detail. Suspicion grows quietly in their mind. Trust diminishes because humans are wired to detect imbalance and act on it, even without conscious proof. Secrecy also pressures relationships into patterns of overcompensation. Both parties behave differently than they would in full transparency. The holder of the secret becomes cautious, guarded, calculating, while those around them begin testing boundaries, probing for consistency, or unconsciously withdrawing. Every interaction is influenced by the unseen, and the normal flow of trust is interrupted. The longer something is held back, the more fragile trust becomes. Small misalignments, small slips, or even innocent mistakes are amplified. What might have been overlooked under full transparency becomes a point of doubt or suspicion. The hidden element distorts perception, magnifies error, and subtly erodes confidence in intentions and reliability. Trust is not only affected by what is hidden, but by the anticipation of revelation. The human mind instinctively calculates risk. If this is concealed now, what else might be concealed later? That anticipation alone weighs heavily on relationships. It's like walking on ice. Every step is tentative, measured, uncertain, even if nothing has yet been revealed. Trust also reacts to energy rather than content. It's possible to sense concealment without knowing the secret itself. Intuition picks up tension, shifts, hesitations, and internal struggle. That awareness influences trust more powerfully than words ever could. The act of hiding communicates louder than any confession ever could. The paradox is that secrecy is often intended to preserve relationships or protect others, but it almost always undermines them. Concealment breeds tension, suspicion, and recalibration. Relationships cannot exist fully in balance when one party is shielding information, regardless of intent or motive. Eventually, trust reaches a breaking point. The weight of the hidden becomes undeniable, the energy too strained to maintain normalcy. The longer concealment persists, the greater the eventual fracture, because trust is cumulative. It grows slowly, erodes slowly, and the invisible influence of what's held back accelerates decay without anyone fully acknowledging it. And the bitter truth is that trust reacts before truth does. Even if the secret is harmless, even if the intention is good, relationships sense imbalance. They adapt, they adjust, they create distance, and they respond to the subtle, unavoidable signals that accompany concealment, proving that holding something behind your back changes everything before the moment of revelation ever arrives. Observation is a weapon most people ignore. They assume that seeing is believing, that attention is passive, that what they notice doesn't matter. But when someone is holding something behind their back, observation becomes a tool for survival. Every gesture, every glance, every hesitation is a data point. The eyes, ears, and instincts collect these points, piecing together a story that the lips refuse to tell. People underestimate the subtlety of human signals. A shift in weight, a twitch of a finger, a pause too long. These are all indicators, whispers of what's hidden. The mind may dismiss them at first, attributing them to coincidence or mood, but repeated patterns cannot be ignored. Observation doesn't lie. It records what is, even when words conceal the truth. The person holding something is rarely aware of how much they reveal. The body remembers what the mind tries to hide. Micro-expressions, unconscious gestures, and timing inconsistencies betray intention. Even the most practiced deception leaks information. Observation thrives on these leaks, gathering clarity from what is accidentally displayed rather than what is deliberately spoken. Observation is both passive and active. Passive, Beck. Awe it notices without interference, picking up subtleties the conscious mind might overlook. Active, because it interprets these subtleties, weighs significance, predicts outcomes. It turns ordinary interaction into a map of hidden agendas, signaling that nothing is truly invisible to a careful eye. Those who observe well detect the invisible tension before it manifests overtly. They sense the hesitation in speech, the delay in movement, the disproportionate attention to trivial details. Observation allows people to understand the landscape of concealment, to see what is being shielded and anticipate what may eventually be revealed. Observation also creates accountability, whether intended or not. The person holding a secret adjusts subconsciously to the gaze of someone paying attention. They alter tone, posture, and timing, attempting to maintain control over perception. But every adjustment is a signal, a breadcrumb that observers can follow. The act of watching changes behavior, just as concealment changes energy. People rarely realize how much is revealed without speaking. Observation captures emotion, intent, and conflict in ways that words cannot. A sigh, a blink, a tightened jaw, all are messages encoded in behavior. Those who rely solely on spoken communication miss the narrative that observation exposes effortlessly. Observation is amplified by context. The same gesture in one setting might be inconsequential, but repeated across interactions, it forms a pattern. Patterns betray secrets more effectively than a single mistake. Observation turns repetition into understanding, allowing intuition to catch what deliberate explanation cannot address. Those being observed experience the pressure unconsciously. They tighten, hesitate, overthink, overcompensate. They rehearse movements and conversations, aware on some level that their concealment is being tested agai. NST perception. This tension leaks into all interactions, subtly influencing tone, choice, and even posture, creating a feedback loop where observation shapes behavior and behavior reveals more. Observation exposes hierarchy too. Who notices first? Who questions subtly? Who interprets instinctively? These roles shift dynamics. Hidden things are rarely neutral in influence. Observers gain knowledge, power, and leverage even before the hidden item is revealed. Awareness itself becomes a form of control. Observation sharpens over time. Initial cues may be vague, almost ignorable, but repeated exposure refines the ability to interpret, to anticipate, to see the unseen. People who pay attention develop a sixth sense for imbalance, tension, and concealment. They recognize what is held behind the back without being told, relying on accumulated data rather than confession. Even without full understanding, observation reduces uncertainty. It allows people to navigate interactions more safely, predict responses, and protect themselves from surprises. It converts invisible pressure into actionable insight, translating subtle human behavior into clarity. Observation also influences morality and choice. Once a hidden element is perceived, the observer must decide how to act. Do they confront, ignore, exploit, or prepare? The act of noticing itself initiates responsibility, transforming passive attention into ethical engagement. Being aware changes the landscape of concealment even before the secret is revealed. And the remarkable thing is that observation rarely fails. Even when nothing is said, even when every movement is calculated, there are cracks. Humans cannot hide entirely. The body and mind betray intention, the environment pressures behavior, and the watchful eye reconstructs truth from fragments, proving that careful attention can uncover what others think remains forever hidden. Funny thing about people, they wear masks. Not the kind you see at parties, not the kind painted with bright colors and big smiles. No, no, no. These masks are different. Invisible, carefully crafted, worn so well you'd think they were real faces. And the best part, the best part, is that they believe their own act. They walk around, play their roles, say the right things, do the right things. They pretend to care, pretend to love, pretend to be loyal. And you? Oh, you believe them. Because that's what people do. They want to believe. They need to believe. A fake people. They're everywhere, aren't they? They move through life like they're part of some grand illusion, putting on their little shows, playing their parts as if the world is their stage and everyone else is just an audience. And the best part? They're good at it. Really good. They've practiced, honed their craft over years, perfecting the art of deception. They know how to smile just the right way, how to say just the right things, how to make you feel like you're the most important person in the room, all while pulling the strings from behind the scenes. It's a beautiful little game, isn't it? It's like a magic trick, but instead of pulling rabbits out of hats, they're pulling your trust, your time, your energy, and before you know it, they've got you in their little web, trapped in their charade. And you, like a good little audience member, buy into it. You believe it, because who wouldn't? They're so convincing. They play the role so perfectly you start to wonder if maybe they're the real deal. But that's the thing about masks, my friend. No matter how well you wear them, no matter how perfectly you stitch the seams, there's always something that gives you away. There's always a little crack, a tiny moment when the facade starts to slip. People think they can hide their true nature forever, don't they? But it doesn't work that way. Oh no, the truth has a way of creeping out when you least expect it. Maybe it's a slip of the tongue, a small inconsistency in the story they've been telling. Maybe it's a look in their eyes, just a flicker of something dark and empty that they try to cover up with another smile. But if you're paying attention, you'll see it. You'll catch it. That's when you start to realize that the person you thought you knew was never really there at all. They were just a shadow, a reflection of what they wanted you to believe. It's a sick game they play. They get into your head, make you think they're your friend, make you think they have your back. And then, when you're vulnerable, when you've let your guard down, that's when the knife comes out. That's when they show you who they really are. But by then it's too late. You're already caught up in their act. You've already trusted them. And that? What's even more fascinating is how they don't even realize they're doing it. It's not like they wake up every day thinking, I'm going to lie today. No, they've convinced themselves that this is who they really are. They've perfected the mask so well that even they start to believe it. They wear it so often it becomes part of them. And then, when the time is right, when the moment of betrayal comes, they can justify it to themselves. They've convinced themselves it's all just part of the act. It's all just for you, just for your benefit, just to keep you in their life, just to make you feel good about yourself. They're doing you a favor in their minds. They've created this little fantasy world, and you're just another character in it. But it's not real. It's a lie, and the worst part is, They've lied to themselves too. They've built this castle of smoke and mirrors, and when it all crumbles down, they can't even understand why you're upset. They can't understand why you'd question their loyalty, their friendship. After all, they've been so nice to you. They've been so helpful, so kind. But all of that kindness, it was just a performance, a part of the script they wrote for you. It's a funny thing, isn't it? The way people lie to each other. And not just little lies, no. We're talking about the big ones. The ones that get inside your head and make you question your own reality. The ones that make you doubt your instincts. That make you wonder if you've lost your mind. But that's how it works. The fake ones know how to manipulate, how to twist the truth just enough to make you second-guess yourself. They know how to play on your emotions, your fears, your vulnerabilities. They prey on your trust. And they're so good at it that when the truth finally comes out, when you finally see them for who they really are, it's like a punch to the gut. You don't just feel betrayed. You feel stupid. You feel like a fool for ever believing in them. You start to question everything, every word, every gesture, every moment you shared with them. And that's when you start to realize they were never real. They were just pretending, just playing a part in their little game. And now, you're left standing there, wondering how you didn't see it sooner. Wondering how you let yourself get so caught up in their act. You know what's funny? How people can be so good at pretending. I mean, really, think about it. They show up, put on their best little smiles, say all the right things, tell you how much they care, how much they want to see you happy. They talk about loyalty, they talk about friendship, about being there when the chips are down. And who doesn't want to believe that someone actually gives a damn about them? Who doesn't want to think that there's someone out there who's got their back, who's going to stick by them no matter what happens? That's the whole point, right? To trust, to let people in. But here's the catch. You've been played. Because while you're busy handing out your trust like it's candy, they're just waiting for the perfect moment to stab you in the back. It's all about timing. They know exactly when to show up, when to turn on the charm, when to offer their support. And they do it with such precision, such perfection, that you don't even realize what's happening until it's too late. They weave their little web, get close to you, make you think they're your friend, make you think they're on your side. They feed you their sweet little lies and you swallow it all without question. After all, it feels good, doesn't it? It feels nice to have someone who seems to care. But here's the twist. Once they've got you, once they've wormed their way into your life, they don't care anymore. All that loyalty, all that love was just a performance. They were never actually in it for you. They were in it for themselves. They just wanted to get what they could, to take whatever they needed. And when they're done with you, they move on, no second thoughts, no looking back. And you're left standing there, holding the bag, wondering how in the hell you didn't see it coming. Because let's be honest, there were signs. There always are. But you didn't want to see them. You didn't want to admit it. So you ignored it. You told yourself, maybe I'm just being paranoid. Maybe I'm overthinking things. But you weren't. You weren't paranoid. You were just too trusting. Too eager to believe in something that wasn't real. And when that trust gets shattered, it's not just the betrayal that stings. It's the realization that you allowed yourself to be fooled. You let them in. You let them play you like a fiddle. But here's where it gets even worse. because they don't even have the decency to feel guilty about it. No, they don't lose sleep over it. They don't sit up at night wondering if maybe they crossed a line, wondering if maybe they took things too far. They don't care about you. They never did. You were just a pawn, a tool in their little game. And once you've served your purpose, once they've gotten what they wanted, they toss you aside like last week's garbage. And all that love, all that support, it was just smoke and mirrors. It was a trick, a con, designed to make you believe that they were on your team. But now, you're left with the cold, hard truth. You were never really their friend. You were just a means to an end. It's a sick game they play, isn't it? They make you feel like the most important person in the world. They make you feel like they're the one you can count on. And then when you're at your lowest, when you need them the most, they disappear. Just like that, gone. Poof! And you're left holding the pieces, left wondering where you went wrong, left wondering how you could have been so stupid. But here's the thing. There's no point in asking yourself that. You can't change it. You can't go back and undo the trust you gave them. All you can do is learn from it. Learn that not everyone who says they're your friend actually is. Learn that not everyone who promises to be there for you actually means it. Because the truth is, those people who were pretending, they weren't just playing a part. They were using you. And the sad part is, you probably let them. You probably handed over your trust so freely, so willingly, without ever questioning their motives, without ever asking yourself if they had anything to gain. But now you know. You know better. You've seen their true face. And when you look back on it all, well, maybe it won't hurt as much. Maybe it'll just be another lesson learned the hard way. Isn't it funny how trust works? You give it away so freely, so innocently, like a gift to anyone who asks. You think that the people you welcome into your life are there for the right reasons. And they play their part well, don't they? They give you all the right words, all the right actions, the kind of things that make you think they're genuine. They make you feel like you're the most important thing in the world, like your problems matter, like your happiness is their happiness. And you fall for it. You give them your trust. You let them in. You think, this is it, this is real. But all the while, they're just waiting for the right moment to turn it all around. They're just waiting for the moment they can twist the knife, push you aside, and leave you wondering what happened. And when it does happen, when you finally realize they're not who they said they were, that's when the mask comes off and the truth hits you. It's ugly, it's cold, it's like being sucker punched in the gut, like someone took the rug out from under you and sent you crashing to the floor. They don't care. They never did. It was all just a game, and you were the mark. But here's the kicker. You knew it. Somewhere deep down, you knew something wasn't right. You just didn't want to admit it. You didn't want to see it. It's easier to turn a blind eye, isn't it? Easier to pretend that everything's fine, that everyone you meet has the best intentions, that people are just inherently good, but not everyone is. Some people, they're experts at deception. They're pros at pretending. They know how to make you feel comfortable, how to make you feel safe. They know exactly what to say and when to say it, just enough to keep you from asking too many questions. They'll tell you that they're your friend, that they have your back, that they would never do anything to hurt you, and for a while you believe it. You start thinking they're the one person who actually gets you. But then, just like that, it all starts to unravel. One slip of the tongue, one little inconsistency, one moment where they don't quite match up to the person you thought they were. But you brush it off, because it's easier to pretend you didn't notice. Easier to ignore the cracks in the mask. After all, Who wants to face the truth? Who wants to admit they've been played? It's painful, right? It's hard to accept that the person you thought was your friend was never really your friend at all. But once you start to see the pieces fall into place, once you start to realize that they were just using you all along, that's when it hits you. The truth was there all along, you just weren't looking closely enough. Now you could sit around and wallow in the hurt. You could spend your days asking yourself why you didn't see it sooner, why you couldn't have figured it out before they tore your world apart. But what's the point? The fact is, you were too trusting. You let your guard down. You gave someone the benefit of the doubt, and they took advantage of it. They played you like a fiddle. And that's the sad truth, isn't it? The people who hurt you the most are the ones who were the best at pretending. They're the ones who knew exactly what to say, exactly how to act, exactly when to be there and when to disappear. They knew how to make you feel like you could trust them, like they were the one person in the world who would never let you down. But the second they had what they wanted, the second they didn't need you anymore, they were gone. And you're left with the pieces. Left wondering how you could have been so naive, so gullible. But the truth is, it wasn't your fault. No one tells you how to spot a fake person. No one tells you how to see through the mask. You just have to learn the hard way. But that's how it works, right? Life's full of lessons, some harder than others. And this is one of those lessons you'll never forget. But maybe, just maybe, you'll start to see the signs earlier next time. Maybe, just maybe, you'll stop ignoring the cracks in the mask before it all falls apart, because when it does, and you see the real person underneath, and you won't be fooled again. Isn't it just adorable when people think they can hide behind their fake smiles, their carefully crafted personalities? They walk around acting like they've got everything figured out, talking a good game, making you believe there's something they're not. It's almost like they're playing dress up, but oh, how fragile that costume is. How easy it is to pull back the curtain and see the real person underneath. And trust me, when you do, it's like a slap in the face. That nice little illusion they've built, it crumbles. They think they can keep it up forever, don't they? But the truth always comes out, even if it's just in the smallest, most subtle ways. Maybe it's in the way they act when they think you're not looking. Maybe it's in the way they react when they don't get their way. When the mask starts to slip and they show their true colors. It's almost like you're watching a show and you're the only one who's finally caught on to the plot. It's a joke, really, but not a funny one. No. It's that bitter kind of joke. The one where you realize you've been the punchline the whole time. The funny thing is, these people, they don't even see it, do they? They think they're getting away with it. They think they've outsmarted you, that they're just too clever, too slick to be caught. But the thing about fake people is, they're not as clever as they think. Not nearly as clever. See, they can keep up their act for a while. They can play the part of the kind, loyal friend. They can say all the right things, do all the right things, make you feel like you're the only person who matters to them. But they can't keep it up forever. No one can. Sooner or later, the mask starts to slip. And when that happens, oh, it's like watching a train wreck in slow motion. Everything they've built, all the lies, all the manipulations, it all starts to come apart. But here's the thing. They still don't get it. They don't realize that the jig is up, that their little game has been exposed. And that's when they start getting desperate, don't they? They'll do anything to keep the facade going, even if it means pulling you into their chaos. Even if it means throwing you under the bus to protect themselves. They'll twist your words, turn your intentions around, make you question your own sanity. They've got an answer for everything, but the problem is, their lies are like sandcastles. The more they try to defend them, the more they crumble. And here's where the real fun begins. Because when the truth comes out, when the mask finally falls off, they can't handle it. They can't handle the fact that they've been exposed, that everyone can see them for what they really are. And instead of owning up to it, instead of accepting the consequences of their actions, they do what they do best. They play the victim. Oh, they'll put on that sad little face, that poor me act, and try to make you feel guilty. They'll pretend like they didn't mean any harm, like they were just misunderstood. They'll act like they're the ones who've been wronged, like you're the villain in their story, and let me tell you, it's pathetic. Watching them scramble to hold onto their delusions, watching them try to spin their web of lies even tighter is like watching a rat trapped in a cage. It's desperate, it's pathetic. And it's pathetic because they think you'll still believe them. They think that after everything, you'll still give them the benefit of the doubt. But you've seen the truth now, haven't you? You've seen behind the curtain, and you can't unsee it. You can't go back to believing the fairy tale. You know what they really are now. You know that all their words, all their actions were nothing more than a performance. They were just trying to get what they could from you, trying to get you to fall for their little con. And when they couldn't control you anymore, they showed you their true face. And it wasn't pretty. Here's the thing though. You can't let them win. You can't let them keep playing you. You can't let them continue to hide behind their lies, their manipulations, their fake smiles. The moment you let go of the idea that they're the person they pretended to be, the moment you stop trying to make excuses for them, that's when you take back control. And let me tell you something. When you take back control, that's when the real fun begins. That's when you get to see just how little power they really have. Because fake people, they're weak. They're insecure. And when you stop playing their game, when you stop giving them the attention and the validation they crave, they're left with nothing. They're nothing but empty shells, hollow and alone, just like the mask they wore. And that's the best part. Because in the end, the joke's on them. They were always the punchline. Oh, it's cute, isn't it? How everyone's running around, desperately trying to play the part of the hero in their own little story. Everyone thinks they're the main character. Everyone thinks they've got it all figured out. Like the world's just waiting for them to do something big, to make an impact. But what they don't get, what they never understand, is that most of them are just following a script. They're all just reading lines, repeating the same tired lines that someone else wrote for them, like puppets on strings. And that's the real trick, isn't it? That the ones who stand out, the ones who really make a difference, are the ones who don't follow anyone else's script. The ones who go off bark. The ones who have the guts to walk into the chaos and just be. Not playing it safe, not following orders, just doing what the world thinks. But it's hard, right? It's hard when everything around you is telling you to stay in line, to keep your head down, to play by the rules. Everyone's got something to say. Everyone's got an opinion on how you should be living your life. Everyone's got their 2 cents about how you should act, what you should believe, how you should dress, how you should talk, what you should do. And if you're not careful, you can get swept up in it. You can lose yourself in the noise, in the constant barrage of other people's expectations. You start to play the part, don't you? You start to wear the mask, pretend to be someone you're not. You start living for other people's approval, doing things for the sake of their validation. And it feels good at first, right? At first you think, the people smile at you, they tell you you're doing great, that you're on the right path, and for a while you believe it. You think you're finally doing what you're supposed to do, but then you start to feel it. That little voice in the back of your head starts to whisper, this isn't you, this isn't who you're supposed to be. But you don't listen to it, do you? You push it aside because, well, that would mean stepping off the track. That would mean breaking free from the script. And that's terrifying, because if you stop following the rules, if you stop being who they want you to be, what's left? What do you have? And then comes the reality check, the crash. The moment when you realize you've been playing someone else's game all along. You've been so caught up in trying to impress people, trying to fit into their little box, that you've lost sight of who you really are. You've let them shape you, mold you, make you into something you're not. And guess what? It's too late now. You're stuck in this version of yourself that doesn't feel real anymore, doesn't feel authentic. It's just a costume you put on every day, pretending to be something you're not. But the worst part? You can't take it off. Because you've gotten so deep into the role, so deep into the act, that you don't even remember who you were before it all started. You've spent so much time looking for approval, looking for validation, that you've forgotten what it's like to just be, to just exist as yourself without needing anyone else's permission. And that's when it hits you. The only person you've been trying to impress, the only person you've been trying to please, is yourself. That's the truth. You've been trying to fill some hole inside of you, some emptiness that everyone else's opinions can't fill. You've been searching for approval outside of yourself because you've never learned how to give it to yourself. And you want to know the funny part? You can't find it out there. You can't find it in anyone else's approval. You can't find it in the applause, the praise, the constant need to be recognized. The only place it's easy to keep chasing after other people's expectations, other people's opinions. It's easy to follow the script, but it's much harder to look inside and say, I'm enough just as I am. It's much harder to stand up and say, this is me, and I'm not going to apologize for it. And that's where the real strength lies. It's not in the approval of others. It's in standing up and walking away from the script, from the fake smiles, from the empty validation, and saying, I don't need your approval to know my worth. That's what the game's really about. And when you finally realize that, when you finally see it for what it is, you stop playing. You stop trying to fit into their world, their mold, their expectations, and that's when you start to win. That's when the mask falls off, the act ends, and the real you starts to emerge. And trust me, that's the version of you that's worth knowing. Because the one thing these people can't take away from you, the one thing they can never steal no matter how hard they try, that's your true self. And that's the only person you'll ever need to be. You know what's funny? Life's this great big chaotic mess, and people just keep trying to clean it up, like they've got it all figured out, like they know the secret to making everything neat and tidy. They run around, brushing things under the rug, pretending they have control over it all. They put on these fake smiles, act like everything's fine, like they've got their life under control, but deep down, it's all a farce. They don't control anything. They just pretend, don't they? They go on their merry little way, convincing themselves that if they follow the rules, if they just keep their heads down, if they just keep doing what they're told, they'll be safe. They'll be okay. But it's all a lie. Because the world, it doesn't work like that. There's no plan, no neat little package you can wrap everything up in and call it perfect. And the sooner people realize that, the better. But instead, they keep searching for it. They keep searching for some kind of magic formula that'll make everything work out. They keep asking, why can't I just be happy? Why can't everything just fall into place? And the truth is, it's because life doesn't work that way. Life isn't fair. Life doesn't hand you a script and tell you how it's going to go. Life just happens. And the best part, most people never figure that out. They keep fighting against it, keep trying to force life to go in a direction it was never meant to go. They fight, they scream, they try to wrestle control from something they'll never understand. They try to impose their idea of order on a world that doesn't care about their little rules. They think they can control their destiny, that they can push and shove things into the shape they want. And it's cute. It really is. But it never works out. It's a losing battle, and they're the ones who don't see it. It's like a hamster running on a wheel, thinking it's getting somewhere, but it's just stuck in the same spot, going in circles. And they're so proud of their little wheel, their little effort, that they don't even realize they're not going anywhere. They just keep spinning around, hoping for something different to happen. And that's the joke, isn't it? They're running themselves ragged for something that doesn't exist. They're so obsessed with the idea of control, of having everything figured out, that they can't see that what they're doing is only dragging them further into madness. And yet, in all their struggle, in all their attempts to control, they miss the most important thing, the power to let go. They miss the one thing that could actually set them free. The power to let go and stop pretending. Stop pretending they know what's going to happen. Stop pretending they can predict every little outcome. Stop pretending they can control every single moment of their life. But the moment they let go, the moment they stop trying so hard to make everything perfect, that's when things start to fall into place. It's when you stop fighting against the chaos, when you stop trying to make life bend to your will, that you start to see things for what they really are. Not everything is within your control, and the sooner you stop trying to control it all, the sooner you'll find peace. People don't want to hear that, though, do they? They don't want to hear that they don't have control over every little thing. They want to believe they can master it all. They want to believe that if they just try hard enough, if they just follow the rules enough, everything will work out the way they want. But the truth is, the harder you fight, the more you push, the more you dig your heels in and insist on having everything just the way you want it, the more you're going to suffer. It's like playing a game with rules you've made up in your head, rules that don't actually exist, and then getting mad when things don't go the way you expected. But it doesn't matter how much you scream, how much you kick and punch the air. The world doesn't care. It doesn't give a damn about your little plan. Life doesn't stop for anyone. It doesn't care about your timing, your expectations, your rules. It doesn't wait for you to get your act together. It doesn't pause and say, okay, now you've got it all figured out, let's move forward. No, it just keeps going, and you can either roll with it, let the mess unfold however it wants, or you can keep fighting it, keep trying to force it into some neat little box that doesn't even fit. And guess what? The more you fight, the more frustrated you'll get. The more you try to control, the more you'll lose control. The more you push back, the further you'll fall. But the funny part is when you stop trying to control everything, when you finally just let it all go, that's when things start to fall into place. Not because you've planned it, not because you've figured it out, but because you finally stopped fighting against it. You finally stopped trying to make it into something it's not. Life's a mess, and that's okay. The trick is not trying to fix it, not trying to bend it to your will, but learning to enjoy it, learning to roll with the chaos, and learning that maybe, just maybe, the mess is where the magic is.